if FIFA and UEFA keep slapping people on the wrist, those little bit of things, it's not going to change. Racism in football is not going to change. We have to come hard. They have to come hard, hard, hard. So my question today is, ban these players or suspend these players? What it is? I have my own take. Check out our next video to hear my own views on it. Banned or suspended? This episode is sponsored by J&J Garage. Top quality, cheap prices.
J&J Garage, we do excellent brakes and clutch repair. Pressure plates, flywheels, disc brake pad, brake shoes, clutches. Any job you have, cars, vans, jeeps, buses, trucks, and tractors. Just call J&J Garage, 1-876-408-3836, 887-7504 for all your pickup and delivery service throughout the 14 parishes.
All right, welcome SportGlobe fans to another one of our videos. Thank you for stopping in and joining in with us, and we just want to thank you for watching our videos, and we do ask you to like, share, and comment in terms of our conversation as well as we get ready for another video here. Of course, I want to welcome my friend Orion along with me today for this discussion. Orion, how are you going?
Yeah, man, I'm here, Rich. What's going on?
Yeah, man, I'm here, Orion. Yeah, man, so much things are going on in the soccer world. I mean, Jamaica getting ready for their World Cup qualifying game coming up is next month.
Yeah.
That's a pretty huge thing. So much things happening there, but let's see what happens. They have a couple of practice games already. Not looking too dusty, not looking too great either. But anyway, what we want to talk about today, Orion, is that we have seen the game between Real Madrid last week and Benfica in regards to the racism thing between the Argentinian Prestianni and of course the Brazilian what's his name?
Vinícius Jr.
Vinícius Jr. Yeah.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people talking a whole lot about it, but I wanted us to kind of put our little spin on it, and I'm not putting a spin on it because I'm black, because I hear a lot of white people just coming out and totally, being very critical of the thing that was done. For me personally, I believe, Prestianni really said something that was really bad. And of course, everything that I've read so far, he has not even, I don't think he has a good excuse so far in regards to what he was said, because he was saying that he said something to the likes of, oh, brother. I can't even see how that would have fit into him saying something to the guy that would get Vinícius angry at all. But, I don't know. Him use a Spanish word and him say it mean brother. But then again, he changed his mind later on, a couple of days after that, and said, oh, it was another word and it mean this. But,
to be honest, I never hear all of that still. I heard his statement, and he was like, it was misunderstood.
Yeah.
But to be honest, man, like, we know racism is in football, and people have been through it. I saw Vincent Kompany in a press conference, and I think he gave a really good response to this, even with issues surrounding Marino, stating that, okay, Benfica can't be a racist club because Eusebio is black. And he went deep into it, and he said, all right, imagine what Eusebio had to go through during his time. Yeah. And he gave reference to when he was playing in Europe and what he encountered in recent times, because this is a player that just retired. So we know what the nuances are around this sometimes. And I guess in regards to trying to protect the player, maybe that was what was being done by Marino, but he was definitely not correct in his verbal.
Marino totally.
In regards to the situation, he's wrong, and he got it wrong. And I think at some point he probably needs to come out and retract whatever he said. No, I know Vinícius Jr. has been going through this for some time now, in regards to racial abuse, etc. And people might take different views on it, saying that he's the one inciting it. But you cannot incite a thing like that. The bottom line is this: he's playing football, and people should not think like that. But it's the world, and you have different type of people in the world. The bottom line is that if it comes to the fore like it has done in this game, the authorities need to get involved, and they get involved and they investigate, and through that they give sanctions, and I think that's what they're looking to do, and that's what they're doing, based on the fact that we're seeing the player being banned for the upcoming game versus Real Madrid, the continuation or the second leg. So I presume they're, based on the reports I've seen, there'll be further investigation, and from what I've seen in regards to the evidence, it shows that he did say something to Vinicius, or Vinicius would not have gone to the referee and said that. And all these things will come out in regards to the match report, because the referee has to write a match report as well as the officials and the commissioners for the game, and all these things will come out gradually in what's going on. So it will come to the fore in a lot of these things. And so once that's done, I presume you get a longer ban or sanction from UEFA in regards to this particular incident. Because
and the club can get sanctioned too, eh?
Yeah, let's see in regards to how that will go. But in regards to this particular case, they'll look at evidence and make a decision on it in regards to Prestianni and what he has said.
But
from what I heard, also Mbappe was the one who basically said what he said to Vinicius. He said it, and he said it like 4 or 5 times. So all these things will come out in the match report, and from there there'll be sanctions.
Yeah, but here's the thing now with some other thing, and especially going back to Benfica coach. He has always been a coach that is very what do you call it now? I was totally disappointed at him coming out the way he came out based on the coach that he is. Right? His personality, I would expect him to say, boy, Vinicius. So the whole thing with dancing and celebrating and all of that, I know FIFA have some kind of rule against, going over to the opponent and sort of jeering them on and that kind of a thing, and there's a no, right? So, because most of the time in the games, you have one set of teams sitting, the fans sitting on one side of the stadium and another side of the stadium, fans sitting on another side. So for the opposing team go over to that side, or for him to go over to Benfica and, jeer them and that kind of a thing, is kind of a no for FIFA, right? And I know them kind of have those kind of rules in place because it's at a riled up crowd and all them kind of things. But here my problem with the whole thing and sports in general. Sports in general is an entertainment thing, Totally, people are good at things for nothing more than to be entertained. Beautiful goal in score, Vinicius score. It deserves celebration. Every goal deserves celebration, but I'm telling you, based on the game and how the game was being played, the thing was deserve celebration. All him do go down to the flag and dance and all that, and get a yellow card for doing that. So I can't even see all of them kind of things. A year to year, Henry come out against a thing totally. I said, when everybody there talk about what the player, you must say, yo, only talk about the player dancing on the flag. The player get a yellow card for something that's supposed to be a part of football. That's what football for. Because if them things are not going on in football, it's almost like the game dead. You understand? It's like track and field, Track and field, when the winners them win, them just run and them win and them put up them hand and them say, oh yeah, we win, and that's done. No entertainment at all. When Usain Bolt came on the scene and do the dancing thing and the whole thing, that whole era with Asaf and Usain and the whole of them dancing after them done win and all them things, that was the highest point of track and field ever. So you can, and the same thing with basketball. Basketball play in a sense where when the guy scored, a guy scored a big 3-pointer, the man go back and them do some whole heap of celebration. Same thing with the NFL. So I can't even see how them giving the man a card for celebrating the goal. I can't understand taking off the shirt. I can't understand all of them kind of things. But celebrating, go down to the flag and dance. These things happen in a football for the longest time. As a matter of fact, the first time somebody go on the flag and dance, it was Reggie Miller, right? went down to the flag and have a nice little dance and thing and thing. But so I can't even understand those things in football that make football just kind of restricted and less entertaining and that kind of a thing. You know, can't get a yellow card for that.
Yeah, I think that might have to do with them thinking that he's rallying up the fans. In regards to that situation, I think that might be the only interpretation from the ref in terms of his standpoint, in terms of looking at the game. Yeah, but obviously, if you score, you want to celebrate as in football and any other sports. You know, you want to have fun. So yes.
Yeah, but I mean, the racism. You know, back to the racism part of it. Now, it is the racism thing is a societal thing. You know, the football now, because it's so much of it happening every single day. And the fact that we're celebrating even Black History Month this time around, I don't see how them going to try to eliminate it totally. I know it can't, because from a fan's perspective, it's hard. It is difficult to monitor every single fan coming in there to do monkey chant or do whatever. Because black players are just all over every single part of every single league that you can find in the world nowadays. So, and black talent is just coming out abundantly into soccer nowadays. So it's going to be difficult, for them to monitor that. It's a society thing, and they need to stop it from the society part of the thing,
Yeah, the thing is, in terms of what's going on with that, generally we know that society is racist, in regards to certain countries, etc. And the bottom line is that that's in football to a certain degree, with certain things that's happening. So, as I said before, what needs to happen, of course, if that comes to the fore in a game like a Champions League game, that's a national televised game, right? There has to be sanctions for whoever is doing that, which is how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, and there can be sanctions too, because they have different rules and regulation in place and different sanctioning tools that they can use, because teams supposed to really control their fan base in a sense based on FIFA rules, right? That every team is responsible for their fans and the actions of their fans. Because if the fans coming out and doing things, the team gets sanctioned. And the team gets sanctioned, I guess the fans get sanctioned. Right? So they can use these things. But I know racism in society, because Prestianni come from Argentina.
Yeah, he's from Argentina. He played before he came to Benfica. He played in Argentina. So I think there's some stuff in regards to that. It all depends on how you're raised, etc. But what I'm saying is that there are always these underlying things in society. If it comes to the fore, in a prominent way, as it did in a Champions League game, then UEFA and FIFA then have to take that responsibility to make sure that they can correct it in regards to a sanction, because they don't want that to be a pervasive thing happening, right?
Yeah.
Which is how I see.
It's about time now, man, that because I know the FIFA president came out and he definitely condemned the whole situation. He wasn't liking it at all, and of course, the European Association, I don't know if they came out against it, but there wasn't as forthright as how FIFA came out against it. UEFA never talked. The president never talked as strong, because I guess there's an investigation. I need them to.
Rich, but remember, so they have to do their due diligence and their investigation. It's their tournament, so they'll investigate based on what has come out, that will come out in the match report, etc., and they'll make a ruling on it. And we take it from there.
Yeah, but we need to have what I'm saying, Oren, we need to have sharp actions on these things. They're going to be the investigation.
Yeah, well,
what I would expect is that the player would be suspended at least for now. Some kind of sanction must go before it takes so long to sanction him in any kind of a way, right? Then him going to come back and play. He was able to come back because
but as I said,
he got suspended for playing the next game, and it's him going to play up against the same team for the next game.
No, right? So what came out of so at least what came out of probably like 10-20 minutes ago is that he's been suspended for the upcoming game versus Real Madrid, a 1-game suspension. I think from what I gather, there might be a longer suspension, but obviously he played against Real Madrid before, and he's going back against the same players. So, which would mean they don't want that to be an issue in terms of coming out again. So they have to cut that.
Hey everyone, check out this bump-free spray. It stops grown hair. To show you just one spray, it's that easy. No bumps, no irritation, just smooth skin. Get yours today.
Right now. And continue their investigation. I presume it will be a longer ban, but let's see in regards to how they handle this issue going forward.
Yeah, man, something funny, man, because with him covering up the mouth and all of that, something is funny with that, because if he was going to say, boy, if you're going to say anything,
I hear you, but
do that, and it looks
I don't agree with that point. Here's why. Since COVID, especially in terms of when the players are talking, they have been doing that, meaning that they've been trying to protect themselves, etc. They've been doing that for a long time. No, and even after they've been communicating like that. So I think it would be. So no, I don't really have an issue. The bottom line is that he said something, other people heard what he said, and there's an investigation, and I'm sure UEFA is looking. So they've banned him for 1 game. And I'm sure he'll probably get a longer suspension.
Here why is the cover up mouth thing is an issue. Him and Vinícius was having conversation throughout the game, close, They were having conversation. When you look at the game and you look at them on the field, they were showing you that him and him was having conversation throughout the game, close with each other. So for him to be covering up the face now, it cannot be because he might try to protect himself because of the COVID situation and what. I thought of all of that. And when I went back and I looked at several little clips, the man them been chatting up each other before. You understand?
Okay.
They've been chatting up each other before, so them are bumping at each other and them are chat up each other and that kind of a thing, right? So that's not an excuse for somebody. So because I'm close to him, I try to cover him thing because him don't know about COVID and whatever. That's not an excuse. They've been chatting up each other right along the game all the time.
But what I'm saying, all right, to the point, because I've heard people coming out and saying that they should stop players from talking into their shirt when they're talking to each other. That's pretty nonsensical. You can't do that. People are going to communicate how they want to communicate. No, in terms of the optics, in terms of what you have said, in terms of, because they were talking generally without that, and then he later did that. Maybe that will show that something is all right. But what I'm saying is that the most important thing is not regarding whether or not he covered up using his shirt to speak to Vinícius, but whether or not somebody heard what he said, and Mbappe said he heard it and said verbatimly what he said. So
let me ask you this though, Orion. If somebody express those kind of a thing, you think they're racist generally, or I'm just angry at the time?
Well, see the thing is, I think people use it for different things, because even the ultras and the people who go to the games who try and rile up these players, I don't know. It's hard to judge. A lot of times, maybe they're not, because if they see one of them where maybe you and they grew up with you, maybe you and them cool. But what I'm saying is that they believe it can trigger somebody, and so they use it in that particular format. Some of them are redskins or skinheads or whatever, and some of them are totally racist or against other races. So yeah, I think is a yin or yang surrounding certain issues in regards to that. So yeah.
For me though, I think people, when you're using this competitive sport, and I understand that, and I understand those semantics with the sport, right? People use all kind of things for try to get
it's you off the game. Yeah, right? Exactly.
And that's cool. I'm okay with that, because strategies, and if you can tell a man and something, a language that is going to
as a footballer, any sports person, you're supposed to be able to rise above that. But continue. But it's still a huge issue.
You're the thing with this particular use of those things, and especially coming from a player. I can understand fans. I try to getting at the heads of players. Fans fine, but player to player, I don't expect, based on the fact that the language, that racist language, right, hurt people or hurt persons to the core. So much so that the association in the competition that you're playing for ban those things totally. The overall world governing body ban those things socially, totally. Players would have signed on to say, because remember, every single player have to sign on to say that they're up against this thing, FIFA had put out this thing, and every single player nowadays that's playing football had to sign on to say that they're not into this practice at all, Remember that. And for you to come on the field now to play up against your opponent and you're going to use those kind of a language, that I don't understand. I don't want to think that you're just generally racist. Why you would come on? Because that is not even a strategy anymore. Because we all agree to each other that we're not going to use that as a strategy up against each other. And we agree in writing and principle that is never ever going to be used. Right? So just in case, just like how they don't want Vinícius to go across the opponent's side, go rile them up. Why is it then that a player would be on the field using language that is going to, belittle another player? Come on.
I hear you, but there's still an investigation going on. But what I'm saying, But the thing is, if you're playing football, you have to find some level of motivation to G you up. No, I agree. To G you up to go up against a player in every single way. I think looking at this player, you could surmise that there's something there in regards to why he said what he said. But I don't know him, and majority of us around the world speaking, I really don't know him. But if he said what he said, that's where the legal stuff coming to force in terms of UEFA. They investigate and they ban him for how long? Now, what I heard coming up is that if he can't, let's say this happens again where he's reported for doing something similar, then that can be a more severe ban, right? So, but let's see. I think there's some ways to go with this in terms of what will happen long term. But I think they're trying to get a hold of it.
I really think, Dorian, as we get down to the finish, I really think, and this is my point, if this player is found guilty, I think these are bans that you're supposed to be banned for life. If not for life, for a long, long time. Right? Because if you're trying to stem it out of the game itself, I mean, society is a whole different matter among the fans and all of that, But out of the game itself, remember, as I said, all of these players would have agreed and signed on to this thing to say, boy, racism is not in, they're not going to do this thing. And the fact that you go ahead and do it, right? You go ahead and do it. I'm just saying if he's found guilty, should be a long ban or a lifetime ban, because they're trying to get the thing out of the sport. And if you don't get it out of the sport from the players level, then how are you going to talk to the fans about it?
I hear you still, but this goes to the investigation, how it will come out, because it's still going to be his word versus whatever he said. Yeah. So it depends on how you argue that, in regards to how people look at it. But we know what, based off what we have seen, where it should go. So let's see. Now, in terms of a long-term ban, let's see how that goes. Also, what I would say is that I think you have had some fans that have been banned. I think it's a lifetime ban. For getting at the Vinícius in the same way in La Liga. So as I said, I think it will play out. Let's see how the investigation goes, and from there, we'll see how they'll deal with it.
Yeah, man. So, all right. So, appreciate it, Orion. And as I said, I think the player must get, after fully investigating the thing, must get the full length of whatever the laws is. And I think they need to upgrade the law or look at the laws even better when it comes on to this kind of a thing. Because trust me, at this time in our lifetime, racism, there's so much cross-race marriages and relationships and all kind of things. But sport has transcended racism a long time ago. I see players playing in Germany. I see players playing in Italy. right? As the players, black, I'm not talking about black players. They're playing in almost every single league that you can think about, and for every single country that you can. If you look at the French team, France, almost 80% of the team is black, right? And so we have moved past racism with sports generally a long time ago.
Yeah, man.
So for this to be happening now is just something else.
Yeah, all I'm saying, the optics present that in regards to on the field, but there are always issues off, and there's always issues generally in society, and they're always going to come up, you know. But what I'm saying, once it comes up in a public domain, then, you know, UEFA or FIFA, whatever competition it might be, get involved and try to make sure that they can stop that from happening.
All right. Appreciate it. Hey, listen, SportGlobe fans, tell us what you think. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us, you know, how you feel about this particular situation. How you feel is Black History Month we're celebrating. We're supposed to, you know, this is a time that now blacks, you can rise up now, you know, and speak your mind, say your thing, make it heard, make your voice be heard. That investigation is going to be taking place, and I guess it started already. You know, we need to make our voice be heard, and I was happy to know that Mbappe certainly step up as a player and say, well, hey, listen, this is what I think, this is what I heard, and the man said multiple times and that kind of thing. It's good to even see some kind of level of support for the thing coming on. I'd wish to hear from some of the Benfica players, because some Benfica players was close to him, and they need to come out and say something too, right? You know, so I guess in the investigation, some of that will come out. But, you know, fans, here we are. Leave us a like, leave us your comments. Tell us what you think about racism in sports. Tell us what you think about this particular situation with Prestianni and of course, Vinícius Jr. I love the player though, Ariane, you know. Brazilian players just always have these flares and styles and them kind of thing. And them always entertaining, you know. So I kind of love seeing him still. A lot of people have problems with him, but I like to see what him do all the time, especially when him score a goal, you know. So, yeah, but remember, leave us a like and share our video with your friends and family, and continue to support us. We appreciate it, and we'll continue to try and do more videos for you each and every time. Orion, respect the conversation, man.
All right, cool.
All right, cool.